Mr Farage, do you really think that Brexit won't happen as things stand?
Oh, I hope and pray that it does, but what I see is a movement, and this court case is just a part of it. There's a movement to try and keep us in the single market. Now, we've seen Jeremy Corbyn, Ed Miliband, Nick Clegg, even some Tory backbenchers who were on the Leave side are now arguing, well, of course, Britain must stay part of the single market. And frankly, if that's where we end up, we've got half Brexit, and that's not what we voted for.
You've said this week that you don't any longer trust the independence of the judges. That seems a very hardline thing to say, a bit Trumpy, if I may say.
Isn't it? I mean, isn't it ever? But then you look at Lord Justice Thomas, and you see that actually he was the founding member of a body seeking to integrate law at an EU level. Surely with that background, he should have absented himself from this particular case.
So do you think that when it comes to the Supreme Court, we shouldn't trust the Supreme Court not to be politically biased in this decision? Is that what you're saying?
I'm afraid that the reach of the European Union into the upper echelons of society in this country makes it quite difficult for us to trust the judgments. And I mean, look, if you were on a jury, you would have to say, I have a vested interest in this case, I can't sit on this jury. I'd like the same thing to happen.
But given that all law has involved European law, that would virtually rule out all judges. And I just put it to you that these are professionals whose job is to look at our constitutional law and take a decision on the basis of the law.
That's fine.
It's quite dangerous to call them.
That's fine, but if they've been activists pushing for politically European integration, they shouldn't be making these judgments.
When it comes to those famous newspaper headlines now, enemies of the people, do you deprecate that or do you agree with it?
Oh, well, I completely understand. But look, let's get to what's happening here. We may have seen Bob Geldof and 40,000 people in Parliament Square, moaning about Brexit. Believe you me, if the people in this country think that they're going to be cheated, they're going to be betrayed, then we will see political anger, the likes of which none of us in our lifetimes have ever witnessed in this country. Those newspaper headlines are reflecting that.
There's going to be a real danger of disturbance in the streets and so on if Brexit is thwarted by Parliament.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I mean, I heard you talking to Gina Miller earlier about the nasty things that have been said about her. I mean, believe you me, I've had years of this. I've had years of hate mobs, taxpayer-funded hate mobs, chasing me around Britain. The temperature of this is very, very high. Now, I'm going to say to everybody watching this, who was on the Brexit side, let's try and get even. Let's have peaceful protest, and let's make sure in any form of election we don't support people who want to overturn this process.
Now, you mentioned the election. We've got a by-election coming up in Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
The Conservatives are almost bound, I'd have thought, to choose a kind of fairly hard Brexit candidate. In those circumstances, what is the role of UKIP?
Well, the point about UKIP is that we have to make sure this actually happens, and history is littered with politicians making big promises and not delivering. In fact, I can remember when she was Home Secretary, Theresa May making big promises about what she would do with immigration numbers and failing at every turn.
You've said in the Sunday Express today that you're not going off to the jungle. You're not going to be nibbling on kangaroos' nether parts or anything like that. You're going to stay and fight because it's politically very important. So you're not giving up on politics.
No.
Can I ask you about your own future? Because, if I may say so gently, your party has had a bit of a leadership issue recently. I assume you're now a Paul Nuttall man, but it's been a complete something.
No, it's been a soap opera. Yeah. Look, we've had a terrible few weeks. There's no question about that. It's been awful. It's been pretty embarrassing at times. And yet, in the opinion polls, there is still a significant level of support for us out there. And I think...
Can you see circumstances in which, before Brexit actually happens, you come back to lead UKIP?
No, I've had enough of party politics. I'm sick of it. I'm interested in politics, interested in issues, keen to go on campaigning, but party politics, preparing a party for national elections every year, finished.